they got pizza, right? Cost you $50 at the end of the month, and you have no holes in your MAR. Now, EMAR is going to help us a lot with that, but we had paper MARs at the time, but you get my point. It also lets residents know that you care and that you know them. I was in a building, and I will go ahead and say it was Avalon, before Angie got there. And I was sitting in stand-up, and the thing that upset me the most is no one knew the names of the people they were talking about, right? Or one would say, hey, Miss Smith, her leg, how's she doing? And they would all go, who's Miss Smith? So that is not the culture you want. The administrator, you should know every resident in your building. You should know their room number. You should know what major things are going on in their life. You should know if the family went on vacation. You should know all of that. And you learn it by walking around and doing little check-ins with people, right? Hey, it's your grandkid's birthday, right? Oh, it is, fantastic. And then you learn that. Then Lynn's family comes in, and I say, hey, how was Bobby's birthday? I heard you guys went whenever. That automatically endears people to you. And so when those mistakes happen, it's not, hey, Isa, can you please do something? I am so sick of this. I'm moving out today. It's, Isa, Mom didn't get a shower, and I'm sure it wasn't a big deal. That's what you want. You want them to know that you care so that when those mistakes happen, and they do, they will always happen, it's not seen as a personal affront to their character by someone who stays in an office and is never out there, okay? Open door policy. What does an open door policy mean, Lisa Shelton? It means a green band. Come on in. Now, Lisa, we have the band system, and if a red band's on, it means don't come in unless it's me, and then I go, I'm so sorry. Or Jenny goes, John, you've already been to accounting today, right? No, an open door policy is exactly that. It is literally an open door, right? Now, all of you also know if you've got something you have to get done, you can close the door. And you tell your receptionist, you say, I need an hour, I'm doing my YGL. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I need an hour, I'm catching up my variance report, or whatever. That's okay. An hour here, hour there, that's all right. You can close the door and let your team handle it. But your door should always be open. If you have blinds, they should be open. And if a resident walks by your door and it's open, they should be able to come in and you should be able to stop what you're doing and help them. Because I know that the perception over the last few months while we were getting these intranet reports up and going is that you never have time because you're always working on intranet reports. And I get it. They were new and they're hard. But at the end of the day, our mission dictates that we're creating moments of joy, independence, and wellness for our residents. So we don't want them to ever get the impression we are too busy to speak to them, right? So open door is open door. Communicate more than when required. Positive is as equally important as corrective. I do not like write-ups. I don't like them. I rarely use them, rarely. I like to give people the every company I've ever worked for has had the 3 steps: verbal, written, final written, right? I like to add another first step, which is the opportunity to self-correct. And that's why I do spot MAR checks. It's why I walk in a kitchen and I go, who's wearing a hairnet? Right? And if they're not, nobody's terrified. I just asked a question, right? And they did it. What's that?
Or they ask where yours is.
They ask where mine is. If you do it enough. I walked in Westlake's kitchen and they're like, where's your hairnet? And I said, touche, can I have a bowl of broccoli? Right? I could have been like, do you know who I am? I don't have to wear a hairnet. Well, I mean, I do, but no, I don't like wearing them. But yes, exactly that. If you're constantly giving that feedback that's very non-threatening, you are coaching your people to do what's right. They know that you're looking. They know that at any moment you could come around the corner, right? Now, the important thing is when you're doing this and you're going and you're giving these little feedbacks during your walk around management, don't become a creature of habit and follow the same path every day, right? So if my office is right here and the kitchen is right here and I need to go to the kitchen, I'm going to go that way, up the hallway, around, then to the kitchen. And then maybe going back, I'll cut through memory care. I'll go outside because you don't want to have predictability, right? It's not that you're trying to catch anybody, but you also don't want people to know exactly when they cannot do something, right? Like if they go, I can go for a smoke break because, yep, Mary just did her 10 o'clock pass-through. I got an hour before I see her again, okay? So you want to change it up. This Communication for positive and negative also applies to your families. And it's hard to do, especially when you have to tattle on yourself. I cannot tell you the amount of times where I get a call from a family member who's enraged because I came in and mom was laying on her wet bed for 4 hours, nobody caught it, and then nobody called me to tell me it happened. I had to find out secondhand because a care partner told me when I was there for coffee, and they do that. Why didn't anyone call me? If you walk in your building in the morning and you're doing your walk, and then you see that Megan's mom, I almost forgot your name, Megan's mom was not getting the service she needed, go back to your office, talk to your team about what happened, why, and then you call the family. And you say, hey, I wanted to let you know this happened, and here is how I fixed it. It builds trust. Hiding things does not build trust. Hiding things makes you look shady, right? And we are not a shady company. I don't think anybody in here, even on your worst day, even if you're mad because John Ray's, he's sending out another email about, I got to put in my spend down, blah, blah, blah. John Ray's a jerk. You still like your job, right? And you still care about the residents. You may be mad at me at the moment, but you still like what you're doing, hopefully. So communicate whenever possible. Call a family member once in a while and be like, hey, I just want to let you know that your mom's doing so great. She was out here playing bingo. She was laughing. She had the funniest hat on in the world. It was so awesome. Share those moments because that's what they're looking for. Use your Facebook pages. And I learned firsthand that the Facebook pages are not being used, with the exception of some whose pictures were in the video, right? Use it. That is a great marketing tool, and it's also a great way for families to know that their loved one is having a life and is enjoying their life, right? If Fahad is cruising Facebook and he's like, oh, I came across Tanglewood Trace and they have all this stuff, I'm going to go check out Osmond Senior Living where my mom lives. Oh, they don't do anything but post their phone number, right? I was calling you out, Taylor. All right, so you want to use those Facebook pages. You want to create those moments and do all sorts of communication to show how awesome we are at what we do, because you are all awesome, right? Anyone in here think they're not awesome? That's good. All right. Celebrate the victories and applaud progress. You should celebrate everything, right? Casper got a move in today. Boom! Westlake got a reservation yesterday. Boom! Anybody else got reservations or anything? Why we're at? Boom! Right? We want to share those positive things because even though they may be, it's one, right? But one more and one more and one more, you want to keep celebrating those good things. I turned it off again. Cassie, consider my big hands. Talked about that. Communication, we talked about, look at that. I didn't even need my slides. All right, celebrate the victories. Every small achievement will soon be one amazing success, right? This, I think we need to do better on with our teams. We get really focused and we get really stressed out about the things that people aren't doing, right? This so-and-so is not leaving their office. So-and-so didn't show up for a shift again. Incremental improvements, little by little, a little becomes a lot. You guys will hear me. I know all my regionals have heard this. It's about incremental improvements, right? I don't expect you to have an NOI that's a negative 300,000 that by the end of October you're a positive 600,000. We're realistic, okay? Now I have worked for companies that are not realistic and that would be the demand, right? I mean, you guys should consider how awesome this company is that we don't get those kinds of mandates. In my previous employer, I literally got a call one day that said, hey, effective today, everybody has to spend $5,000 less a month. Well, how do you do that, right? You can't. You can cut back a little, but that's an awful lot of money. So we're very realistic, and we do believe in that mission, and we do believe in those incremental improvements, but you guys have to celebrate those incremental improvements and share them with the team, right? Lisa Harrison and I, just a couple weeks ago, were saying, hey, you know what, we got away from that. We used to send out booms. I used to send out, find your frog emails, and they were really nice, and then, shame on me, I let my busy schedule take me away from that, and I forgot it. But I can tell you that since we brought it back, I'm getting more and more positive emails from people, right? And I want to know all of them. We all want to know all of them. Anything that made you guys feel good, I want to know. We want to party with you, okay? When improvements are needed, don't make them the star of the show. Remember, how's your cat? Who knows the how's your cat story? Who listens to me when I say that? Okay, here's the how's cat story. It kind of makes me sound mean, but that's okay. So my sister-in-law, who I'm not a fan of, had a cat that she loved, okay? Cat got hit by a car. Cat went to the vet. She was sitting by the cat's side all day long. Cat passed away. She's very upset, right? So I called her that night because I had a question. Cat died. No one told me. And I said, hey, how's your cat doing? She said, you are a jerk, and hung up the phone. And then my wife said, oh, I forgot to tell you. And it wasn't my wife's fault, right? She just didn't think about it. Cat's not part of our life. And I didn't come home and go, hey, anything weird happened with Heather's cat today? But that's just... So now, whenever I'm talking to people, and sometimes to my own detriment, I am exceptionally blunt to the point where people are not anticipating exactly how blunt I am, okay? Christy, I'm going to pick on you. Christy actually said that to me once, and I said, you know what, you're absolutely right. I am. Oh, yes, he is. And I try really hard to work on it. So I always try to remember the how's your cat principle, which is kind of the same thing as sandwich. I'm always preaching the sandwich, right? Right? Always preaching it. But now I always try and start every conversation with, hey, how's it going? Hey, Stephanie, how's your goats? Heard you got goats. Can I see a picture of them? Awesome. I love goats. And I do truly love goats. I'm not fibbing you.
I truly love them.
Yes, I know you truly love goats more than I do, but goats are cool. And what it does, it helps you gauge the conversation and where it should go next, okay? So if Chris gets a phone call from who's going to call HR on me, if Jill goes to Chris, goes, John made fun of my spirit animal and I'm not happy about it, right? And Chris comes to me and she goes, hey, John, how's your day going? And I go, oh my God, Chris, I got a flat tire on the way to work. I got a ticket because I was speeding before the flat tire. And then I got here, I left my shoes at home, so now I'm shoeless, which I'm shoeless anyway. But so it's just a bad day. Is Chris going to take that time to say, Jill's upset about your spirit animal choice? No. Because in the grand scheme of things, she can just come to me in an hour. Everything will be okay, right? Now, if it was Jill went to her and said, hey, John came in my office, threw all my stuff on the floor, and called me horrible names, then she might be like, well, your day's about to get worse, right? But you want to gauge how you're going to approach people, and you do that by how's your cat or the sandwich method. So when you have to do that, you want to remember that you are not making your problems the star of the show. Everybody does good things. Even the worst staff member you have, think about the worst staff member you have. Don't say it out loud. Think about the absolute worst staff member you have, okay? Right? Now, Mary, tell me the best thing about him.
The residents love her.
Right?
They do.
And isn't it hard to say this person's terrible when the residents love them so much? Now, it may not be that that's enough, but there are good things. And you got to be careful that you don't allow the frustrations of somebody to overshadow the good in somebody. Right? And we all fall victim to that. We do. All of us.
I do.
Lisa does, right? I can't even tell you. And we're the regional team, we are an excellent sounding board for each other, right? And this is how you need to be with your team. Lisa Harrison can call me. She'll be like, John, gosh darn it, I'm having the worst day ever. What in tarnation's happening, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll go, Lisa, take a breath. She's like, well, it's not that bad, right? All she wanted to do was vent. And everything's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa Shelton. So you want to...
Oh, y'all just wish you could talk like me. I'm about to go Jodie Foster salt.
But on the same token, I have that same ability with them, right? And what it does is it opens up a trust that they know if they're frustrated, they can say something. Like the month in review tab, right? The regional team brought it to us. I brought it to Lisa. We talked about it. We ran it by the team. We all said, hey, can we do without this? Can we make a change? Can we help them out? And then it happened. The key is you have to say it. You got to tell us. So I can sense when I'm talking to any of you, really, if you're frustrated. And I will always say, is there anything I can do for you today? And when the answer is nope, okay. Even though I know you're lying, right? So don't be afraid to just come out and say something when you need help, okay? It helps with those small incremental improvements. A small win in your world is a huge accomplishment in somebody else's. So I have often, through my whole life, lived by a philosophy that even in my worst times, that bad thing had to happen to me so a good thing could happen to somebody else, okay? So one of the most traumatic things that I have ever been through in my entire life, and I may cry, and if I do, I'm going to stop, but there was some kids that my sister-in-law, who I'm not fond of, brought into her home. Well, I did not want to have a relationship with these kids because I love children. And I did not want to have a bond only to have it separated, right? So my wife's like, my sister would never do that. I'm almost done. My sister would never do that. So I welcome these kids in wholeheartedly. They're like living with us. We're taking them to the movies. I give them an allowance, right? And lo and behold, we get a call one night and her sister said, I'm done. I'm giving them back today. I was destroyed, right? So now, of course, we keep a watchful eye on them from a distance. Maybe it's creepy, I don't know. We just want to know they're okay. And the oldest daughter is going on a mission trip with her church. She looks great. She had a GoFundMe. I put some money in there. She'll never know I did it, but it made me feel better. Had they not gone through my sister-in-law, they would not have gone to the foster family they had, who would not have introduced them to her sister who adopted them, and now they have this great life. So it was terrible for me. It was terrible. And I'm going to stop talking about it, but everything that may be hard on you can be a huge accomplishment for somebody else, and you don't want to take that from them, okay? So being interactive is not just telling people who you are, but it's learning who your team is, and it's acknowledging what they do, even on the worst day, right? Okay, so stay upbeat and let people notice their attitude. Stay upbeat and let people know you notice their attitude and attempts. The problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem. Who's heard me say that before? Where'd I get it from? Jack Sparrow. And isn't that the truth? It's true. It's like the truest statement ever, right? It doesn't matter how bad your building's operating right now. The problem is your attitude and how you're going to fix it, right? So if you walk around going, oh, my sense is down, I'm never going to get it. Oh, Jill's constantly asking for one more. John's like, hey, why isn't your spin down done? Right? Michelle's brand new. She's already down my case about assessments. Right? We got to work hard. It's a hard job. It is. But you got to change your attitude. Your attitude controls the building. So if you own it and you hold yourself accountable and you share your vision and you get involved and know your people. Now, know your people, not, hey, will you be my Facebook friend? I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Not that. But know your people, know their struggles, know enough about them that they know that you care. Your job becomes way easier. Now, I'm not going to talk about delegation and all that because I don't have time, obviously, but we already covered that in other things today. People want to follow someone who is confident, even if you don't like them. I've had bosses who I just think are real dirtbags, but I follow them because they're incredible at their job. No, Lisa is not one of them. Lisa's actually one of my favorites, right? You want to make people follow you. The mark of a great leader is getting people to want to do their job. And you always hear, managers manage, leaders encourage leadership and blah, blah, blah. No. If you can make somebody want to help you, then you are golden. Because then it doesn't matter how bad it gets. They want to help you. And you do it by being interactive. You cannot do it from back here, right? If I'm always back here and I go, hey, Fahad, I need you to work this weekend. I got a golfing tournament. Right? Fahad's like, no, I have a golfing tournament. I know, Lindsay.
Fahad's laying on the table at the winery. He didn't even know.
Yes. All right, so let's do a little test of knowledge and see if people follow that and listen to what I said last night. Dun, dun, dun. What's my theme song? Oh, people were listening. What's my spirit animal?
A silverback gorilla.
Here's an extra challenge for you. What's Chuck McGlade's spirit animal?
Giraffe.
Nice. What is Lisa Shelton's theme song?
Mission Impossible.
Do something.
Yep, Lisa got it again.
Matthew West.
Matthew West, see? You want to know people. I know that Jill's spirit animal is a deer, right? We know that.
I'm going to get another complaint.
That's okay. I know that Taylor loves sloths.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right, so you guys are all amazing people. Be interactive. And do I have any more time, Lindsay?
Of course.
Now it's all the time in the world?
We have 4 minutes.
All right, does anybody have any questions for me about this or anything in general? You got anything that's pressuring you right now with operations or anything? I know you do. All right, I saw Jen roll her eyes. What do you want to bring up and you're just afraid to?
Absolutely nothing. I've only had 2 calls from my building, so I'm doing.
Oh, all right, all right. How about you, Angie?
Where should I begin?
I saw your eye roll. All right, cool.
I was just kidding. I know everyone tattles on me for everything I say and do.
Actually, no one tattles. Well, that's all I got. Thanks, everybody.